Do you find yourself making simple errors at that kitchen line? In today's video, we're going to be going over several common mistakes players make at that kitchen line, but also some fixes and some drills to help hopefully improve those errors. Right guys, my name is Will East, I'm the Prince of Pickleball, I'm a 5.5 level duper player. Let's get into this first video. The first mistake I see players make is they fall off the kitchen line rather than taking that ball early. Here's some examples. A way to work on taking the ball early is get a partner, get a spare paddle, place that paddle at the very end of your strike zone, your reach. Then rallying cross court, trying to hit that person's paddle. Here we go. So when you do this, guys, perfect here, is make each of the moves you want to. An important thing is take that ball early on the fly. Here's a few examples now of some points. Nice. The next dinking mistake that I see players make is they are decelerating during their dink. Here's an example of that common issue. How you work on accelerating through your dinks is a drill called the bump and hit. So what it does, it forces you to slow the ball down, then accelerate through the dink. Here's a few examples. If you're enjoying this video so far, guys, maybe give me a cheeky follow. All right, back to the main video. Another common mistake that I see players making at the kitchen line is having a too loose a wrist when dinking. Here's an example of that. A great way to work on locking that wrist is get your thumb and your middle finger and place them on the top of your ulnar radius. From that point on, go to dinking, keeping that wrist nice and locked with that non-dominant hand. So here's some examples of that drill. So my left hand, non-paddle hand on my wrist, get nice and locked, blocking that ball back. Keep my paddle nice and quiet and work on really reducing how much wrist I'm using on those dinks. The next mistake I see players make at the kitchen line is they cross over their feet far too frequently when going for their dinks. Here's an example of that kind of footwork. So instead of crossing over your feet at the kitchen line, your focus point should be almost a crab-like motion or a side step. What it does, gives you a nice wide base, but more importantly, gives you more balance. A great drill to work on avoiding crossing over your feet is called touch and go. How it works, touch the line and then you go. But when you go, you can't cross those feet over. Right, here we go here. Touch that marker and then go. Nice crab-like motion, side stepping, staying nice and low. One of those things we watched before, playing it out from there, and then boom. There's a great way of working on that footwork, but more importantly, it keeps you nice and low to a really effective dink. And the final mistake that I see at the kitchen line is when people are hitting dinks, they're popping up as they hit their dink, which leads to a lot of inconsistencies of the height of your dink. What you're meant to do is this instead. You want to stay down throughout the whole of your dink, let the paddle face control the actual height. Well, a good way to think about it is imagine you're on a bench, and as you move, your butt remains on that bench. But also, there's a ceiling above your head. So if I was to come up, my head would hit that ceiling. So there's a few examples here of the idea. So butt on that bench, head down, and the paddle face control that ball's loft. One thing here, guys, is as soon as I come up, that ball comes up also, which then leads to inconsistencies and most likely a pop-up. So there's several mistakes players make when at this kitchen line. There's plenty more mistakes, but there's some of the big ones. As always, guys, if you enjoy my kind of content, smash the like button. If you really enjoy this video even more, consider giving me a cheeky follow. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.